Hello and welcome back. So let's start with the solution to our homework project. First thing, if you haven't already done so, create a file called homework_project.rb. This is what I had started in the last video, so I'll leave this as is, where I started the hash and then I started the loop. Now the first thing that our requirements say is create a dictionary with 10 names. Okay, so we're going to have to create a hash with 10 city names. So I already have two. I'm going to add a few more. So remember, for hash, you type in the hash name equals open curly brace and close curly brace, and within that you need the key and then the value. Okay, so we have New York, we have New Brunswick. I'm going to add Edison and then hash rocket. We'll make it 908. I'll say Plainsboro, hash rocket, we'll say 609. Then I'll add San Francisco, and then hash rocket 301. Now I don't know if these are accurate or not, so don't hold me accountable for this. So after each entry, I have to add a comma, okay? Except the last one, of course. So there's my dictionary. I'm not going to add 10, but 5 should be adequate. The next thing it says is get input from user on city name to use get chomp, okay? Then it says display the city names to the user of which are available in the dictionary. So let's work on the input, okay? And the input should be within the loop here. So the program keeps running and prompting the user to look up new city names till they hit N or want to exit the program. So let's do that. So down over here, I'll get rid of these two comments. So here where it says, do you want to look up city name? Let me update this a little bit. Do you want to look up an area code based on a city name? Yes or no? Okay. Answer equals gets.chomp. That'll get the input from the user. That's good. If answer not equal to Y, then break and then end. So basically, if the user inputs Y, it will keep running and execute the loop. If the user inputs anything else and hits enter, it'll break the loop, meaning it'll go down to this end and execute anything below that, okay, which will signify the end of the program for us. So let's make sure this works first. I'm going to save this. And then Ruby homework_project.rb. Do you want to look up an area code? Y, hit enter. Okay, so the loop is working. If I hit anything else, let's say N, hit enter. Okay, it breaks. Perfect. So the first thing I want to do, if you look at the spec, is get input from the user on the city name. All right, so which city do they want to look up? So let's do that. We're going to do puts which city do you want the area code for? Question mark. Okay, and then we're going to get an input from the user. So prompt, we'll call it. You can call this anything. You can call this city name if you want. I'll just call it prompt. Equals gets.chomp to get input from the user. Save that. Let me scroll down. This will get input from the user. But remember, I have this spec that says display the city names to user which are available in the dictionary. So I have to display this, all right? Which brings us to our first method. So I want to display to the user, after I enter in which city do you want the area code for, I want to display the city names to the user. Not the area codes, just the city names. How do I do that? I can create a method which basically looks at this hash and just prints out the city names. So let me go ahead and do that. So right under here, right under the hash, and over my loop, I will say define get underscore city underscore names, and I will pass it a hash, which in our case will be dialbook, and I'm going to call it some hash, okay? And then within it, I want to iterate through the hash structure and display the key. Remember, all of these, New York, New Brunswick, these are the keys, and 212, 732, 908, these are the values. So I just want to print out the keys. So I will say sum hash dot each, and then for each KV pair, I want to print out the K, which is the key, and then close brace, save that. Now down here, which city do you want the area code for? I want to call my method get city names with some hash, and our hash is dialbook. So I want to call get city names, and I'll pass in dialbook, which is our hash. So let's see if that works. Save that. Down here, I'll run it. Do you want to look up an area code based on a city name? I'll hit Y. All right. There you go. I have my city names: New York, New Brunswick, Edison, Plainsboro, San Francisco. Okay. Do you want to look up an area code based on city name? Now notice how I hit N and enter, and it just simply repeated the loop. Well, I want the value to return something like you entered an invalid entry or something like that, right? So let me go ahead and update that. Let me exit out of the loop. Okay. Now back here, I have my entry from the user here in prompt, okay? So how do I compare prompt to the key? Because that's what I have to do to see if my prompt, which is holding the value of what the user entered, exists in the key. So how do I do that? Simple. I'll say something like this. If dialbook.include prompt. So if dialbook.include prompt, which means my dictionary dialbook, if it includes the entry that I'm getting from the user, then I want to say put valid selection. Else, I'll say puts you entered a city name not in the dictionary, and then end. Okay? So what this will do is ensure that if the user enters an invalid city name, instead of just going about its business, it displays this helpful message to the user that they entered an incorrect name or invalid name for our dictionary. Save that. Let's run this. Do you want to look up an area code? Yes. Okay, I'll enter New York. It says valid selection. Perfect. So this is working. So do I want to look up another city name? Yes. And I'll enter Jamaica. You entered a city name not in the dictionary. Perfect. So that's working. All right. So let's go on to our next functionality. Now, once the user enters in the prompt, which is they enter in the city name, we want to return the associated area code. How do we do that? First, over here, we'll say puts enter your selection right above the prompt. And then what we need to do is create a method that takes in the hash, which in our case is the dialbook, and the prompt, and then does a comparison and returns the area code. So let's build that method. We'll call this define get underscore area underscore code. Now it will take in some hash, and it will take in a key as well. And then what will it return? It will return the value, which is at some hash key. Close bracket. Okay? So what this is going to do is look up the value and return the value which exists at the key of this hash. So some hash key. That's it. So now we have the method. Let's go ahead and call it. Where do we want to call it from? Right here. If dialbook includes the prompt, then we want to change this entry. We want to say puts the area code for pound open brace prompt, which will be our city name, is pound open brace. Here we can simply call our method get area code, and this takes in the dialbook as the hash and the prompt. Okay, so this should work. Let's give it a shot. Save that, and then let's run it. Do Do you want to look up a city code? Yes. Okay, enter your selection. I'll enter in Edison. Hit enter. The area code for Edison is 908. 908, perfect. Let's look up another city. Yes, I'll enter in New York. The area code for New York is 212, perfect. Do you want to look up another city name? Yes. I'll enter in an invalid selection, name. You entered a city name not in the dictionary, perfect, that works. Do you want to look up another city name? No? All right, that's it. Our program is working. So I hope you enjoyed building this project. Now, as you can tell, you can do a lot more here with this project. And I would encourage you to kind of branch off, use this as a starter template and see what fun things you can do with this. Instead of a dictionary for area codes, you could have a lot more going on here. Okay? All right, great. I'll see you in the next video.